Should the Chicago Bears be concerned by Eddie Goldman's absence? Let's talk about it, starting now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page because we do talk Chicago sports weekly. We don't want you to miss a thing, so make sure that you hit that bell. Also, before we get into the video, we got merch. In the words of Tony Baker, you see it, you see it. Nah, we finally got the merch out. We appreciate you guys for staying in tune with us. Check the link in the description below. The website is twcbreeze.com. You can go in there, check out all the merch, cop you some dope stuff. We got a bunch of people who already copped some stuff. And if you do, take a picture, tweet it to me at Pat the Designer on Twitter, and you know I'm gonna return the love. You feel me? Now let's get into the video. Should the Bears be concerned by the absence of Eddie Goldman? And you know, I kind of, when I first heard the story, I was like, it's okay, they'll be fine. And then I started looking a little deeper into it, right? Eddie Goldman ended up missing mandatory minicamp. And you know, I mean, it's the NFL, so you're not gonna get a ton of excuses or reasoning from the coaches because they feel that they're holding government secrets from us. But should the Bears be concerned by the fact that he didn't show up, that they did say that it was an unexcused absence? I think you have to have a little bit of concern if you're the Chicago Bears, right? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, when you look at coming into this season, yes, you kept Akeem Hicks, yes, you still got Mack, yes, you've still got Robert Quinn, who, I mean, he's dealing with his own kind of injuries, and you hope that he has a bounce back season, but the injuries are still there, but you still have those guys on the line. But a lot of what you were doing coming into this season was predicated on the fact that you had your 27-year-old nose tackle coming back in who was going to be able to take a lot of the reps away from Akeem Hicks. Now you want to see him on the field together, but when Akeem Hicks was off of the field, we know how completely different that run defense was. But with Eddie Goldman on the field, we know what we've seen with that. I mean, hey, look, Delvin Cook, come through whenever you're ready. You know what I'm saying? That Bears defense up the middle is dominant when you've got that combination of Akeem Hicks and Eddie Goldman, and we haven't seen that in a little bit of time. Now, Goldman, of course, opted out last season due to the COVID-19 concerns. Totally understandable, right? But you're wondering if he still has those same concerns coming into this season. Now, as far as I've heard from some inside sources, the Chicago Bears still have a good amount of players who haven't taken the COVID-19 vaccine. Is that a little bit of a concern for Eddie coming back into a situation saying, look, maybe, you know, I want to come into an environment that I feel is safe, but maybe there's some players who aren't taking it as serious. Maybe there's some players who aren't taking it. And listen, to each their own. However, you feel dealing with this COVID-19 virus, however you feel going into it, if you feel like you need to take the vaccine, if you feel like you shouldn't take the vaccine, that's everybody's personal decision. But maybe there's some things going on behind the scenes that we don't know that are keeping Eddie Goldman away from the facility at this moment, to where it is an unexcused absence. Now, before I continue with the video, I want to know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments below. Should the Chicago Bears be concerned by the absence of Eddie Goldman thus far? I'll be down there talking with you as well. And here's the big thing with it, right? To me, it's not like when I look at Eddie Goldman, it's not that I don't think the Chicago Bears can play defense without him, right? But to me, it's the players specifically. When you see a lot of these mandatory mini camps, when you see a lot of the training camps and stuff like that, it's more so about ramping up your body to getting it to that football speed. Now, of course, practice isn't going to do that. Training camp isn't going to do that. But we saw kind of how the Bears were playing when they weren't there for those preseason games, when they weren't there for those training camp games all together, training camp reps all together, you know what I'm saying, in previous seasons. And we saw that, okay, in the middle of the season, you're trying to get yourself in playing shape, and it seemed like it was harder for the Bears to do. And so that's kind of what I'm concerned with, especially with Eddie Goldman, who hasn't played in over a year. I mean, the last game Goldman was even in was that a December game versus the Kansas City Chiefs of 2019, and I believe he went out after the first quarter. I believe that's the last game that Eddie Goldman Goldman had played in a Bears jersey. So you want to see him getting his body in playing shape. You want to see him getting his body physically ready to do this. And not to say that he can't, not to say that there's going to be a limitation there, but I just think that we seen players who take the year off, and yes, the year off absolutely helps your body recover, helps you recuperate, helps you get back into shape and get all your muscles feeling better, right? But then you got to start taking those hits, and I've heard from players who have played that lineman position that that's the hardest part to get back into, getting prepared. Like, it's something you've done your entire life, but when you take that first hit, when you come back, it's like, oh snap, here we go, now we ready for it. Somebody really got me right there. That's how you get ramped back up into it. And so to me, I really want to see how Eddie Goldman is going to be able to come back and you know, without minicamp. Hopefully he is there for training camp. Now I will say this, the Chicago Bears do expect him to be there for training camp. They have said that they do expect him to be there for training camp. But again, to the point that the fact that he hasn't shown up, that they have said it's an unexcused absence, that they have said that they're not sure kind of what's going on with him, that they've had conversations, but they're kind of trying to gauge how he's feeling. That's where you start to get concerned. You're like, okay, well, y'all have had these conversations, where is he? And so that's kind of where I think you have to look at Eddie Goldman and say, am I concerned? Absolutely, because he's such a key part of what the Bears can do offensively. I mean, he is an absolute stud at the nose tackle position. Somebody you gotta look, Ryan, tip of the cap, Ryan. All right, I give you that one. I give you that one. That's one that when he's in the game, he is a game-changing player coming up the middle. He's somebody who absolutely creates pressure and helps that offensive line in general. I mean, that pressure up the middle just makes things so much easier for Khalil Mack to get sacks, for Robert Quinn to get sacks. He is a game-changing player on this defensive line. I know he's kind of a name that a lot of people have thought of as an afterthought, but I'm telling you, when he's in there, him and Hicks coming up the middle, that is exactly what the Bears were missing so often last season, that was really going to change how the pressure that this line was able to put together. And like we've said, you know, that pressure changes everything. Guess what? That pressure in the face of the quarterback, it gets Max sacks, it gets Quinn sacks, it gets picks from Jalen Johnson. You see Jalen Johnson's game could probably improve there. I mean, we remember how Kyle Fuller's game improved with that pressure. Eddie Jackson's game then improves. I mean, it's so predicated to everything that the Chicago Bears defense wants to do, needs to do, that you have to absolutely say that, yeah, it's a big loss if Eddie Goldman is not there for the beginning of this season. But as always, I want to know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Should the Chicago Bears be concerned by the absence of Eddie Goldman coming into the 2021 season? I'll be down there talking with you in the comments as well. As always, it is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the links here or check the links in the description below. And by the way, go pick up some merch, baby. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.